We're going to present a webinar today on Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2015, all the great new features and functionality that were released in the spring update. It's called update number 1. XRM Cubed is a Microsoft CRM partner. We're located in Southern California. Today your presenters are going to be myself, the guy on the left, and also Jessica Karsten, a senior CRM application consultant here at XRM Cubed. We are going to have a short PowerPoint presentation, the obligatory PowerPoints. Everybody loves them. Then we'll move right into the presentation. We will be holding questions until the end of the session. There will be enough time for Q&A. We're going to ask you to submit those questions using the little question functionality that you see in the GoToWebinar dashboard. So you should have a grayish box, and in there you should see a couple line items, one of which includes questions. So you can submit questions throughout the presentation, and when we get to the Q&A, we'll just take them one at a time. All right, so let's get started. So short version on who we are. We're an independent Microsoft Dynamics partner. Been servicing Microsoft Dynamics CRM clients for over 10 years. CRM doesn't live on an island, so if you're going to do CRM, you have to be able to also help people manage marketing automation, sales and service functionality, integrate the system with, say, an ERP solution or a productivity solution. BI is also really important to our customers these days, and of course, after the project is completed and the system is deployed, we provide ongoing support and long-term administrative help for our clients. So before we look at the actual system, we're going to talk just a wee bit about CRM in the abstract. So we believe very firmly that before you configure your CRM, you really need to have a handle on your preferred process. So CRM starts not as a piece of software, but it should start as a strategy or a methodology for you to acquire and maintain healthy and profitable customer relationships. CRM is a means to an end. It supports all the different processes that you use in order to attract, acquire, and maintain those customer relationships. In addition, the CRM should help your internal staff collaborate and communicate so they stay in sync and make sure that all the customers' needs are met. So now let's move out of the abstract into the world of, everyday work. And the CRM really becomes your hub of, getting things done. So whether that's consolidating all of your customer information, whether that's name, address, phone number, all your marketing information, clickbacks from your automation tools, keeping track of emails and appointments, all those different customer engagements, as well as managing industry partners, integration with ERP systems, marketing automation systems, and so on. All of these things should be tied back to the CRM. Now let's look at some of the things that we're going to focus on today. The streamlined navigation, that's part of Dynamics CRM 2015. The ability to sync emails from any device, not just a PC with Outlook. Also Excel Online integration, Power BI, a multi-entity search, branching business logic, and cross-sell and upsell opportunities. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transition the presentation to my colleague Jessica. So just give us a few seconds and she'll begin.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Good morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and show my screen here. So as Mark said, I'm one of our CRM consultants. I've been with the company for over 4 years now. We are going to demo today a demo environment with using the Microsoft Online 2015 version that has Update 1, which shows some of the new functionality that Mark bulleted in our PowerPoint. So one of the first things I want to show you, I'm just going to hop right into the demo. This is Microsoft Dynamics CRM for those of you who haven't seen it. This is your navigation bar at the top. Keeps track of where you are, and a lot of the new additions that we're going to show today are kind of up here with some new easy-to-use features. This is just an example of a Microsoft Dynamics CRM dashboard. This is an out-of-the-box dashboard that gives you kind of a good place to start with maybe some sales information. It has some source campaign info. It also displays some case type information for companies who want to track service tickets or issue tickets for customers directly in CRM. You can go ahead and do that as well. CRM is obviously a sales tool, but it's also a marketing and service tool, so there's lots of functionality to use. And this is just kind of a quick little overview of some of those little pieces and parts that you can wrap up into one dashboard on the screen. So I'm going to just hop into here. I'm going to show you guys the new navigation. It's one of our bullets from today. Easier to use, quick navigating tool, which is, it's from 2013 to 2015. The ease of use is great. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into sales. Prior to this version, you would have to navigate through tiles. If you clicked on sales, you would see all of these in tiles at the top. And you'd have to scroll through the entire list of tiles to get to what you want. Now it's more of a drop down, it's easier to use. You'll see this on mobile apps as well, mobile devices as well. So whether you're on a desktop or a mobile device, you will see this type of easy to use navigation. So if I'm in sales, I'll see the things that are pertinent to sales, such as dashboards like we just talked about. What's new, your activities, things that you're tracking, what you're doing, what others in your department are doing or need to do, follow-ups and things like that. Your accounts, so who you're doing business with, what companies you're doing business with, your contacts, the actual individuals for those companies. Those all are under here under customers. And then you get into some of the sales pieces like leads, opportunities. We're going to hop into a bunch of these records here, and I'm going to show you what those look like, and we're going to talk about some of the new functionality in those. And then you have the more sales-related type information like quotes, orders, invoices, products, and sales literature. Some organizations don't choose to use these type of, detailed type of product tracking and things, but one of the things that we're going to go through today is some enhancements that they've done at the product level to make things easier for a sales individual when using those type of functions. And then there's also, marketing list and quick campaigns. So even though we're in sales, there's still some pieces of marketing that would be important to a sales individual. So that's why those are there. And I'll show you marketing as well. Goals, there's inherent out-of-the-box goal tracking to track any type of goal metric that you can think of. For the most part, there's a million different ways to track goals. You can create goals for sales individuals for obviously forecasting and revenue. You can create goals for how many activities a certain person is creating to make sure that they're using CRM and user adoption is happening. You can create goals for marketing individuals, customer service, sales representatives, or case, how many tickets or issues a particular customer service person is closing. All those kinds of things can be tracked as goals in CRM, and that's out-of-the-box functionality as well. And then you got some other tools, reporting, alerts, calendars. I'm just going to hop into service and show you kind of some of those pieces as well and just talk about what those are. So again, you're going to see accounts and contacts, social profiles, cases, that's the ticketing type of system that we're talking about, the things that you can use, the entity that you would use to track your service tickets. You can track activities, who's assigned to that, what their tasks are regarding that case. There's also a whole service calendar piece. You can create service type of tickets and things like that for going to service a particular issue or problem. And then there's things to track that type of information a little bit better for an organization, like articles and contracts. You can use articles to store service case closing information for your organization to make things easier as you move along through your processes. And then again, goals, reports. Same information that you're going to see over in sales. Microsoft just likes to categorize things and make it easy to use so you don't have to pop back into sales just to get to goals. Marketing, same thing. We're going to have dashboards, activities, accounts and contacts. Same accounts and contacts that you would see over in sales or service. They just display here nicely so that you don't have to click over there, because obviously if you're a marketing individual, you're probably using and working with accounts and contacts as well. You're probably marketing to leads, so that's why you see those there. Marketing lists, campaigns, quick campaigns. So these are just all the different components of the marketing area. The settings area is more for an administrator or people who are customizing the system or managing the business aspect of the system. All those things would be displayed here in settings. And then you also have your help center. So this is a really awesome help tool. You can use this to search anything that you kind of have a question on, any keywords, and the CRM will display the Microsoft posted information on that, and it's actually a really helpful tool. A lot of our clients use that. So that's just a quick little overview. And as you can see, the navigation is great. If I click in here and I wanted to go to accounts, it's quickly going to just pull up accounts, and no longer do I need to search through a tile, a list of tiles that, go five pages deep just to get to the entity that I'm trying to work with. Another great tool that's been added is your global search. So I can actually click in here and I can search for anything that would have that name in it. This will pull up leads, contacts, accounts, inherently opportunities as well for what you're searching for. So it's going to look for the keywords that you're using. If you're searching for an individual, you would use their last name. If you're searching for a company, you would use the company name, and it's going to pull up anything that it finds. So it's going to list out the information in a really clean way and show you all of that detail right here. And I'm going to use global search in a little bit to show you a little bit more how that would work. But that's a really nice feature. No longer do you have to navigate to the actual, opportunity area to then find that opportunity that I just searched for. I can search for it straight from here, no matter what area I'm in. You saw that I was in accounts first. I then searched for something that came up with an opportunity name, and it pulled up that opportunity, and I could open it right there. So I was actually searching for this, and that came up very easily and cleanly, and I didn't have to navigate to opportunities to do that. So it's a really nice tool. And I'll show you now that I'm in opportunities, I can also just search for an account name. It's going to pull up anything that has Fourth Coffee in it. I searched just for Fourth and came up with Fourth Coffee, the account, the contact, and a lead for that as well. And I can actually open these records directly from this list. This is a demo environment, so obviously doesn't have as much real data as you'd be searching for. So if you were searching for a particular person's last name and you found multiple instances of that person, with a lead, a contact, and maybe the account that they're related to, it would pull that all up in that list, and I can actually open up Yvonne McKay's contact record directly from that list. So again, no longer do you have to navigate to that entity that you're searching for to search. You can use global search to do that, and it's going to pull up anything that you are looking for. This is also customizable. So inherently, there's certain records that will pull up. Like I said, accounts, contacts, opportunities, and leads are some of those inherent entities that will pull up when you're using global search. But you can also customize that to meet your business needs. So if you're looking for activities to pull up in that list, or another custom entity to also pull up in that list, you can certainly have that configured, and that can also be searched in this global search. One of the other nice features is your recently viewed items. This is a really nice display of that information now. There was always a little, keeping track of your cookies basically inside CRM of where you've recently been. But this just displays it a lot nicer and easier to get to, and actually shows more records. Showing the views that you recently visited is really nice. Before, it was just actually tracking records that you went into. So you see that Yvonne McKay just displayed here because I just recently opened hers. Last night, or yesterday, I was working on some of these other things here, so that's why these are displayed here now. So I can easily get back to some of the things that are most important to me. So if you're an individual who's working on, a list of leads or a certain amount of opportunities or a particular record or case, as you navigate through CRM, it's going to track that information for you and then pull up that list and keep that tracked for you so that you can easily pop into that information. So I'm going to hop into some of the more technical features that have been added from our list of bullets that we wanted to cover for the new 2015 Update 1 functionality. I'm going to go into an opportunity here. In fact, let me just use that little tool that I just showed you. We'll pop into one of the opportunities that I was working on yesterday. So you'll see this ribbon bar here at the top of the form. This is a out-of-the-box opportunity form for CRM. Again, this is a demo environment. So it's got some of the out-of-the-box things that Microsoft determines makes the opportunity record easy to use. One of those things is this ribbon bar here at the top. You'll see this is called a business process flow. You'll see this throughout the system. This is not just relevant for opportunities. You can use business process flow to work through cases. You can use business process flow to work through a lead qualification to an opportunity. You can use it for managing your accounts. You can really use it for most anything in CRM. There's some out-of-the-box business process flows already built in the system, and I'm going to show you kind of how we edited one of those to utilize the branching for business processes. So the business processes are no longer as linear as they were before. They're a little bit more robust, and there's a lot more functionality with them. Prior to this update, you would have to, the way that you configured was a little bit convoluted. You'd have to, finish your whole entire configuration of this business process flow before you can use it. Now you can actually, and you can only go through one entity at a time. So you can go from a lead to an opportunity and then back to a lead only one time through a business process flow previously. Now with the new business process flows and the new functionality and the branching, you can actually pass through in and out of the records that you want the business process flow to go through as many times as you need to. So there's a lot more functionality there, and I'm going to show you how that looks. This is just one that I kind of added, and I'm going to show you what I added here. This discover step was not actually in the original out-of-the-box business process flow, and I'm going to show you why it's there and how kind of neat little branching opportunities that we have now. So I'm going to actually go into settings. I'm going to show you actually a process. So in settings under processes, under business process flows is where you configure these. Again, there's some out-of-the-box ones that you can work with. You can change these as much as you need to, and then you can also build brand new ones as you need to work through whatever entities you want to flow and have steps for individuals to get through, leading them from A to Z through a particular process. I'm going to open up this one here. This is what a business process flow build looks like in CRM. It's pretty straightforward. Again, this is an out-of-the-box one, and I just modified it a little bit. So what we're saying here in CRM is that this is the qualify stage for an opportunity. These are the step names in that stage. You'll see that none of them are really marked required, but you can mark something required, which means that you would mark that required before you can move on to the next stage in the process. So it's really universal and really helps a business work through whatever particular processes they need to kind of define for users and help them get, again, through point A to point Z in a very efficient, clean way, and lets them know what's expected of them to do and what they need to do and how they need to track. And this is also really beneficial for management. You can see exactly where someone is in a particular process, whether that's a sales process or a case closure process. You can see exactly where your team is at and identify, maybe where they're getting stuck or maybe where something's being held up on a particular stage or step in that stage, for example. So again, these are some of the out-of-the-box options that Microsoft kind of puts in the qualify stage. These are completely editable. I can actually just get rid of one from here without any issues. I'm just literally removing that line. And now if I was to go back into the opportunity, once I save this and go back into the opportunity, it's going to not have that identify contact step in there. So this is very easy to modify. And adding a step back is as easy as putting in the step name. So the step name does not need to match the actual field that you're using for that step. And that's how you actually pull in the value that you're looking for, the actual field. And then I can mark this required if I needed to. Any of those kinds of pieces are there, and I can actually move this up in the business process. So that's just inherent business process building. The tool is a lot easier to use. You're identifying the entity, the primary entity that this business process is for. Again, you can navigate through other entities, even custom entities, to make sure that your business process is going through the entire flow for your business of whatever that business process is for. Most commonly, people use it for a sales process, but it can be used for really anything. You're going to have the stage category. And then this is what I added down here. So basically the branching for business functionality allows you to determine, based on a particular answer to a step name in the previous stage, you can have a branch, and you can say, so this is one I created, it just says if the budget amount is greater than 150K, put in this discover stage. So for anything under that, we really don't need this stage. Maybe it's, we have a different sales process based on the different questions that we have or answers to our step names up here. So now that I've said, because budget, identify budget, estimated budget here is a field in this previous step, I can go ahead and pull from that, make a branch, and say, well, if it's over this, I'm going to add this new stage in. So I'm going to show you how that looks. So prior to my little edit here, my little modification, develop was the very next stage and there was no branch. I had no condition for any branching. So this really does help identify and gives you the ability to have multiple options in one sales process and one business process flow without having to switch the business process flow based on certain criteria manually. The users don't necessarily have to do that anymore. You can modify your business process flow based on answers to steps in the previous stage. So you can branch out it as many times as you need and pop back and forth into these different stages. And this is just a really simple example that I gave, but I'm going to go ahead and close this. Let me save this. I'm going to hop back into my opportunities. I'm going to go ahead and create a new opportunity, and I'm going to show you how this would look. So you'll see when I open a brand new opportunity form, I don't see that discover stage in here because I haven't put any criteria in that makes that stage pop in based on the branching that I created. So I'm going to go ahead and name my I'm going to assign an account just for best practices, put an estimated close here, estimated revenue. I'm going to go ahead and put in, again, that's just my estimated revenue. So now I'm going to start I'm going to save this. I'm just going to start filling in the steps within my first stage, which is qualify. So what do I need to do to get through this actual first step? Purchasing time frame, I'm going to put in some information there. I'm going to identify their budget amount, which is what my branching criteria was based off of. So if I said it was greater than 150K and I put that in, you'll see that immediately once I did that, the discover step automatically populated, letting me know that because I put in a certain amount for the budget, their discover step is now a requirement as well to move through this process. So you can kind of see how nice that would be for your processes if you're moving from one business process flow to another based on certain criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now if I click next stage, I'll see that discover stage, and then there's just that one step that I had put in for an example of discovery meetings conducted, and yes, not yet. Okay? And that's how you can move through and add that kind of branching functionality into your business process flows today with Update 1, 2015 Update 1. Um, I'm also going to show you some other functionality within. It's actually new functionality in the product catalog that helps sales individuals or anybody who's working with product-based entities. So opportunities, quotes, and orders. And CRM now have a little bit more functionality when you're identifying products that you want to attach to those. I'm going to scroll down here and show you. So one of the pieces that was added, I'm just going to go ahead and add a price list really quick. One of the pieces that was added was cross-sale and upsale type information directly in the product form, and also that displays directly in the record that you're adding that product to. So if you're adding a product to an opportunity, which I'm going to show you here, I'm going to see a new little feature here. If I hover over to suggestions and I click on this link, a little window is going to display, and it's going to display for me the things that have been built out in the system by my administrators or management, whomever is creating these products in the system and designating what is a cross-sale option or an upsell option or a substitute or accessory. Any of those items can be linked to a particular product. So again, this is demo information, so Microsoft put in some of their products in here to help show kind of how that would look. So here is a list of cross-sale options, products that would meet criteria to be a cross-sale option for this particular product that I put in. So this functionality is brand new. That was not there before. You didn't have the ability to designate that. You only really had the ability to designate kits. You didn't have any ability to designate bundles, which are like kits but with better functionality, and you certainly didn't have the ability to do any cross-sale looking up directly within the form or really have a way to designate that in CRM unless it was customized. So this is a really neat feature. I can look through this list and see all of the products that meet that criteria. I can also scroll down and see that there's also one upsell option for myself, and I can kind of help gear my conversations with my potential opportunities and people that I'm working on with quotes or anything like that. It can help gear that conversation towards a potential upsell with that information. And then I can also know what a substitute would be. So if something is no longer available, or they didn't want it in that color, whatever the case could be, you could actually have a substitute listed here, and many substitutes, many upsales, as many as you need to. And you can actually add to this list here as well. So that is new functionality. Again, that's in the suggestions link here. And I can actually edit components directly from this list, which was not available before. So entering products is becoming easier and easier to use. It's more, it's quicker, it looks nicer. You have more functionality for adding more detail around your products that you didn't have before. So this is a really neat tool. Again, some organizations don't choose to link up products to opportunities, but if you do have that need, it's certainly a lot nicer to use in the 2015 Update 1. So that's the bulk of what I had around the opportunities and the kind of the product functionality and stuff. So I'm going to actually hop into one of our next bullets, which is the Excel Online integration, which is also called Immersive Excel. This is a really neat tool, one we're really excited about to start letting our clients use. This is not Power BI, so I just want to make that clear. This is really just working with your data in Excel Online directly within the CRM window without having to navigate outside of CRM. So you can work with your data, review it, edit it, look at it, and then you can update it back to CRM all in one fell swoop. So it's not meant to be used for large edits or things that you're going to have open for a really long time, because it is not, it doesn't update until you actually click the update button. So you want to make sure that you're not overwriting something that somebody else had already done. This is a really neat tool. I'm just going to show you how this works. The criteria is that you have to have an Office 365 account, and you have to have access to Excel Online, and then you also have to have access to the Export Excel permissions. So those are the key components. Export to Excel and normal out-of-the-box permission. You would just not have it if somebody took it away from you. So if I click on Open in Excel Online, again, this is a new option. You would not see this in even the 2015 version that's out currently that does not include Update 1. You would not see this option. So once I click it, it's just going to open up Excel Online, just exactly what it told me it was doing. And I'm going to see a more Excel type view of my information that I was just looking at. So there's some things that you can do here. You can actually edit values. If you're editing a value in the view, that field needs to actually reside in that entity that you're working with. So views, you're allowed to pull in related information. I can pull in, if I'm looking at a list of leads, I can pull in, maybe some information from the source campaign that they came from. That information cannot be edited in this online Excel editing area. You can't edit it in this way. You have to only be editing fields and things that actually exist on that lead, if that makes sense. For those of you who are CRM savvy, it probably does. So I'm going to just go ahead and click here and edit a couple values. Okay. I can also edit some budget amounts here. Let's do so you can see how easy that is to use. Nice and easy. It's kind of like doing editable grids type functionality, but directly in Excel Online. So again, I'm not updating in CRM just yet. I'm actually updating the data in Excel Online. Okay. Save changes to CRM is actually what puts that data back into CRM. So you can imagine if you have this open for quite an amount of time and you're editing things, but somebody else went in and changed the budget amount on a record prior to you clicking the Save to CRM button, you're going to override their changes. So just be cognizant of that when you are starting to use this. It's a great tool, but it's not meant for having open for a long period of time. It's not real time. You do need to basically import that back in. When I click this button, it's going to actually create an import in CRM. It's going to tell me that right now. It's going to say your data has been submitted for import. So for those of you who are familiar with the inherent importing tool in CRM, that's actually what it's doing. It's going and creating a system job and importing that data in. So I'm not going to see it real time. You'll see that I don't have any budgets changed really here. Even if I refresh, it might just take a quick second here. So I'm going to hop into my settings area and go to data management and go to my imports. I can actually quickly see what was processed, when, the time, this is one I just did, and how many were a success and anything that had an error in it, because maybe I was editing a field that wasn't in the lead, or I was trying to make a change to something that couldn't be changed from that type of data view. And that's kind of a lot of detail to get into on a demo, but let's hop back into that list of leads. And you'll see now that I have all of the values that I edited for contacted, and then here's my edits to the budget right there. So for people who have been using CRM, that gives you a lot of quick functionality. If you're a sales individual and you're trying to go in and update a large number of pieces of information, maybe on your opportunities, and you have all those fields displayed in a view, it can be a system view or personal view that you do these edits in. If you have this functionality, again, you need to be an Office 365 user and you need to have Excel Online, and you have to have permissions to export Excel and CRM. If you have those three things, then you can go ahead and make these changes directly in CRM or directly in Excel Online, and then import them back into CRM in one quick step without having to actually open up each record. Which, as you can see, can sometimes take a little while if it's loading the form, and then making your changes to your information. So whether I'm updating, the lead source, or I'm updating my budget information, or I'm, putting in whatever the case may be, I don't have to do that directly in the form. I can do that in the Excel online functionality and then just import that straight back rather than having to navigate through this list. So that's a really nice ease of use tool. Again, you do need to have, you do need to use it in the view area. You can't use it in advanced find. So for those of you familiar, this is advanced find. I can't query something and then try to use Excel Online to edit it. I have to actually save that view and use that view in my saved view areas, which would be underneath my personal views here. So any system view, any personal view. I can also have a system view or personal view that I've put filters on here, so I can actually filter this information. And I can use Excel Online with the filter. So I can click this, open Excel Online, and it's going to only pull up the data that I filtered in that view. So that's another quick little tool that you can use. You don't have to use advanced find to query that information or change the data the way that you want. Maybe you can use the filters and then use Excel Online to edit your data or view it. You can also view your information in a chart way if you wanted. You can really use anything that's relative to Excel Online. So you have all the functionality to view and work with your data directly in Excel from CRM. And then you can save this, obviously, as a saved file for passing on to people. Maybe you're going to save a large data set to make some changes to it and then import it later on, which is a good idea, using the regular import process in CRM. So that's the immersive Excel experience. Quick little example on that. So I'm going to actually hop into the next two items that we're going to talk about. Let me just make sure I've covered everything. Yep. So the next thing I'm going to hop in and talk about here is actually not inside CRM. It's actually Power BI. So Power BI is a tool that Microsoft has come out with. It's an Office 365 tool. You can use your CRM data in that tool. So it uses Excel and Office 365 and provides information for workers with data analysis and visualization capabilities to identify deeper business insights about your data. It uses the BI tool with dashboards and tiles and then data sets to help display that information. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So this is just an example of what Power BI looks like. This is in Office 365. This is a example of what one dashboard can look like based on your data sets and the information that's important to you. So again, this is not inside CRM. It connects to CRM using the OD data URL, but you can pull in other data sets as well. So for example, if you have an ERP system and you want to reflect some invoice information or forecasting information or something that's in that ERP system that's not being tracked in CRM, rather than previously having to go through an integration for that or whatever the case may be, you can actually pull that data set into Power BI and report and display on that information along with your CRM data to give you some of that visualization on reporting that you needed without having to have an integration and actually pull the data into CRM. So it's a big tool that's available. So again, the components are dashboards, reports, and data sets. You'll see those here. So you can pull in your data sets, you can create your reports, and then you display your dashboards with that report data. It also has a intuitive searching capability. So as you ask questions up here in the search, it's going to try and find. So if you search for last year's revenue, it's going to try and find that information for you in a report and display it for you in a chart or dashboard or tile type manner so you can get to it. And it's going to continue to learn. So that information, this search it's a smart search. It's going to keep trying to learn and figure out what you're trying to search for as a user and keep track of that. It's going to also give you options, just like when you search in Google or Bing, it's going to try and give you some options that you can select from the list as you search. So adding data sets is simple and user-friendly. Data type options are on the left, and connecting to CRM simply requires the OData service URL, which is listed here. So you'll see when you click into data sets, if you have permissions to add new data sets in here, you can actually connect to any of these type of options and pull in data from any type of these areas here. And this is just a dashboard display. It shows the different types of charts and things that are available. You'll see that there's mapping capabilities, which is super awesome. We know that there's a lot of third-party solutions and things that offer heat maps and mapping type capability directly in CRM, but now you can actually pull data from CRM and display it in the Power BI. And again, here's a little bit more about the searching. So it's going to search for normal language. It doesn't have to be the specific term that you're looking for. It's going to try and find what you're looking for in a smart way. And then you can pin those answers to your dashboard for later. So you have interactive pinning. You can continuously pin things to your dashboard that are important to you, reports and things that you find, or dashboards and charts that you find. You can keep pinning those to your dashboards and make this more unique and personable for you as a user. And then the reports contain multiple charts that can be multiple pages long. So it's a really great tool without having to have, in CRM you only have one dashboard with 6 components on it. This has a lot more functionality as far as dashboards are concerned, and the way that you can display your charts and information. You can really kind of customize this to have all the different pieces and parts that are particular to an individual and display them here using those data sets that you pulled in. And then you can, further dig into the data sets by clicking on the actual chart and such, just like you do in CRM. When you click on a chart, it's interactive. It's going to show you the data that's being displayed. This will do that as well. And then you can do in-report filtering also. And you can click and drag. So if you're trying to create a new chart from a report, you can actually click and drag the fields or click and drag to create a chart. And the system's going to try to make that component look the way that it should. It's going to try to do a little smart configuration for you and help you while you're building out the things that are important to you. So it's really intuitive. Again, creating charts is really intuitive. You can kind of see how easy this looks a little bit like CRM for the people who have done customizations in CRM. Your builder is on the right, and then it displays the information on the left. And then the last thing that I think I want to talk about today, let me just get into, I'm going to talk really quickly about email tracking in CRM from any email client, which is called folder level email tracking. So there's some further capability for online. It's only available for Microsoft Dynamics CRM online right now. I'm going to actually pull up. I'm not going to go through this whole slide, but I just want to pull up a quick couple little snapshots because I'm talking about it. I'm not able to really show you this functionality in Outlook at the moment, but can kind of show you a couple slides and talk about what the requirements are and how this kind of displays. So the folder level tracking that we're referring to is something outside of the Microsoft Dynamics CRM for Outlook plugin. So this is an option above and beyond the plugin. You don't have to actually have the plugin any longer if you are on Microsoft Online 2015. You don't have to have the plugin installed. You can actually, in order to track emails, I should say. So in order to track emails, you no longer have to have the plugin installed. You can actually track emails based on folder logic. So you can create folders under this tracking area here. So you can have a track in CRM that you just quickly click and drag your emails to, and that's going to automatically track it to CRM based on the person's email address that you're tracking from. Same functionality when you're selecting manually. When you click the track button in the current plugin functionality, you click track. That's the same type of functionality. You just don't have to have the plugin to do it. You can also have folder-based project type information. So you can create filters to actually have just like you would in Outlook to create filters for your emails to go into a particular folder on the left-hand side. That same functionality exists for tracking in CRM. You can actually create those filters and decide automatically which emails are going to automatically track to a particular folder. So if you're working on a particular project or a particular opportunity or sale, and you are constantly just, want to track those emails that are coming in, you can create that filter criteria and display it directly here in your folder filtering capability and for the folder level tracking, and that'll automatically go to CRM based on that. So that's how you set the regarding. You would, show that everything that, for this particular project is going to automatically track in CRM, and it's going to be set regarding this opportunity in CRM as well. So all of that capability is there. You can configure that using the filters. There's some requirements around that. Again, this is only right now for Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. You do have to have server-side sync installed, and there's some other requirements for having this, but if you meet those requirements or your organization meets those requirements, you can now have that functionality without having the Outlook plugin installed, because for anybody who's worked with that in a large setting, it can be problematic depending on the person's PC environment. So not having to install that and still having the ability to track emails for folders is a nice thing. So that's now available. There's also, I'm just going to click through here and get to so this is some of the case uses of why Microsoft has gone forward with using this, which is really great. We actually have some clients that this is going to be really useful for in the months to come when they're ready for it. So, Mark, I think that's all I had for today, unless there was anything else that you wanted me to go through.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, great. No, I think that pretty much covers it. You did a really nice job. So what I was going to do was just show people some of the new discounted pricing, because we included information on that in the webinar invitation. So I thought we'd run through that really quickly, and then I'll pose some of those questions to you that we got from our attendees. So if you could, I don't know if I can grab presentation rights back from you or not. All right, so you should see something that says Dynamics CRM 2015 user licenses. Can you see that?
Yep, that's what we see.
All right, so I really wanted to start here. So a lot of people that are using Dynamics CRM Online, you may have started out years ago with a $44 license. That's all they had. It was a one-size-fits-all license, encompassed all the functionality. But in the last year or two, they moved to something a little different. It's a tiered-based pricing. So in order to enjoy all of the functionality in the system, it's now $65 per user per month. That includes all of the Salesforce automation you need, unified service desk, which is something we didn't cover in today's webinar, but certainly something we could review with you if you want to go offline in the future. So, and by the way, it would take probably 8 hours for us to show you everything inside Dynamics CRM, so we know you don't have that much time today. So if you're interested in saving money on Dynamics CRM, let's say you're new or you're renewing, there's a really tremendous offer from Microsoft now. It's good between now and the end of their fiscal, which is June 30th. So for what you'd normally pay for Dynamics CRM Professional, they'll also provide Office 365 and Power BI. So the Power BI functionality that Jessica showed you just a few minutes ago, plus Office 365, that productivity suite that integrates so nicely with Dynamics CRM. So if you want to sync your emails back and forth from Outlook, if you want to use that Excel integration, if you'd like to communicate internally or externally using Skype for Business, Word, etc., PowerPoint, all those things are inside Office 365, and it lives in the cloud, so you don't have to maintain those servers internally. And it can save you a whole lot of money as long as you're comfortable with the cloud-based world. Now, in addition to the $65 license, there's a thing called Enterprise 360, which includes a whole lot more. So you get that Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online Professional license, but you also get the Unified Service Desk, which is for customer service people, as you might guess, but it allows them to display multiple screens um, on one LCD. I should say Windows, the average service person may use 3 or 4 different systems at one time on one call. This allows you to look at all of them at once, makes it a lot easier. Parature, which is a self-service customer service portal that Microsoft purchased about a year or so ago, and they're integrating that into the CRM platform. Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, something we didn't talk about today, but if you have really robust, highly sophisticated and complex marketing campaigns that you run that may encompass email, social, billboard, television, radio, this is a really, really robust package that can allow you to manage all those things. And also Microsoft Social Engagement, which is something that allows you to monitor sentiment out on social networks. So let's say, for instance, there are 1,000 people tweeting about your company or your services. You're going to be able to see how many of those people are tweeting things that are positive about your company, neutral, or negative. And for those people that are negative or positive, if you want to engage those people directly on their platform, Facebook or Twitter, you can do that as well. Dynamics CRM Marketing, $125 per user per month is a standalone. Again, that enterprise promo, $150 per user per month. And then we can see here for the service desk, we have the Parature Enterprise, which provides, again, everything a customer would need to self-service on your website. So let's say you provide services because you sell a product and people may have a question about how it fits together, how the software operates. In the next few years, very few of those engagements will happen between two humans. They'll happen between a human on one side, the customer side, and some sort of automated portal on your side. Customers are more comfortable than ever just self-serving, accessing knowledge base, support articles, so on and so forth. That's what Parature is all about. Social, you can see the prices there. Social engagement, again, if you have questions about that, we can review those offline. So now what I'm going to do is go back and look at some of the questions that our friends have here. All right, so question number 1. If I want to integrate Outlook with CRM, how much does it cost me? Well, it doesn't cost you anything because the plugin for Outlook, CRM for Outlook, is free. And there's native integration between those two platforms, so it will just take whatever amount of time it takes you, which is about 5 minutes, to install the add-in, the plugin, and get those working together. And as Jessica demonstrated a little earlier, with the new way of tracking folders, the folder-based email tracking, you'll be able to track emails to CRM from any device that has an email client that supports different folders. Next question. We're new to CRM. How long does it take to implement the system? And how much does it cost? Well, that's a fairly open-ended question. I would say the average implementation takes somewhere between around 60 to 90 days, depending on the level of complexity. A very simple implementation can take 30 to 60 days. And then if we need to do some integration with other systems like ERP or perhaps a marketing automation system, those things may take a little bit extra time. And it's really impossible for me to estimate the cost of an implementation until we've seen the requirements, but that's a really great question. Okay, so when can I see the functionality that you demonstrated today? All right, so that's a really great question because new customers to Dynamics CRM Online are going to see this new functionality right away. So anybody that goes in and buys Dynamics CRM Online today will see all the functionality that Jessica showed us today. If you're an existing Dynamics CRM Online customer, your updates will be scheduled sometime between now and the fall. So you should get an email, I should say your administrator should get an email notifying them of when those updates are going to happen. As far as on-premise customers, those updates will hit the on-prem environment, I believe, in the fall. So if you're not aware of the fact, Microsoft is providing major updates every 6 months to the platform, which is really great. So for no more money, you'll continue to enjoy an enhanced and an evolved CRM system. So the CRM system that you signed up for last fall is going to be highly evolved come next fall. Let's see now. Oh, we got another question here. Does the extra Microsoft marketing software have non-profit pricing like CRM? I'll have to check on that. That's a great question. So let me add that to my follow-up. Okay. All right, well, those are all the questions. It's now 10:57, so we're ending just about on time. Again, wanted to thank you for your time today, and also let you know if you'd like to contact us here at XRM Cubed, you can do so using the information that you see here. Okay, so that's my phone number, my email, and if you'd like to poke around on our website to learn more about us, you're certainly welcome to do that as well. So thank you for your attention. You'll receive a follow-up email from us in a couple of days with access to a recording in case you'd like to review it or pass it along to one of your colleagues. Have a great day. Thank you so much for your attention.